Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shonen and Chill, hosted by Zenrotto and Oceaniz.
Hello. I am back from the dead.
We recuperation week. Everyone's healthy again, feeling good
Yeah.
again.
I mean, almost. I fucking made that quirk video, and God punished me for my hubris. God, I was like last week. I could have not uttered a single MHA mid. Like that's how bad it was.
Oh God, that's a good thing we didn't do it then. That's 90% of our content.
Yeah, I mean that's our brand nowadays.
It's our bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean at least if you ask some people, it is. But yeah, no, we're back, and we'll just talk about this week's chapters, except for our heavy hitters, Jujutsu and My Hero. We'll do both this week and last week's chapter at the end of the show, right?
Yes, well, I mean MHA and JJK always end up in our top threes anyway. So I figure for those two, we are going to cover both weeks because I ended up taking last week off as a little breather. But for the others, we're just going to talk about this week because fuck it.
Yeah.
What are you missing? The only thing I can think of missing is Undead Unluck when Andy goes crazy 8 mode and beats the shit out of Rip, but whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah, when he has visions inside of himself. Very Naruto.
Yeah, when he sees his inner demon, which is him with like Def Leopard hair.
Yeah. I do like that trope though. You know, you're in a life or death situation and your spiritual roommate pops up to calls you a bitch. It's some of the best parts of Naruto.
That's true.
Yeah, he's just like he's in a pickle and the Ninetales shows up and is like, "Oh wow, you sure suck, bro.
You sure are a little piece of shit idiot."
Yeah, if only you had my power, huh?
Wouldn't that
Too
be...
bad I'm not giving.
Go ahead and pop this little gate open, huh? How about that?
Yeah. Hey, little boy, please open the door. I swear I won't hurt you.
With his giant evil eyes and foaming mouth.
Like the best thing, this is a tangent, but the best thing about it is every single interaction, like before they become friends, starts with the Ninetales saying, "I will kill you," and like swiping at you, and then backpedaling to, "No, bro, please let me out. I swear I'll help
I'm
you."
serious. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I was just kidding.
Suddenly it's believable that he would think Naruto knows about solar fission.
I forgot about that. One of our thumbnails is literally Kurama with a PhD.
With a physics degree. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're already derailing. What are your top three, my guy?
Okay. My top three is number 3, Blue Box, number 2, My Hero, number 1, JJK.
Oh, look, it's the same for me.
All right. See, back in sync.
I swear I'm not just lazy.
Back in sync.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, would you call this like a sort of medium to high energy week? I felt like there was some good shit this time, but it wasn't like a big one.
So it's weird because I think a lot of it was like, what are the words I'm trying to say? I know English, I promise. There was like a lot of shit going on, and it ranged between like really exciting or kind of falling flat. Like there were some, like I thought the Earthchild resolution was really cool. Obviously, a Blue Box was crazy. Sakamoto was crazy. But then you had some stuff like the Elusive Samurai, which was trying to be like a, oh fuck yeah, this is badass. But I was like, what's happening? Same with Ayashimon. I was like, this probably should be cool, but it's just not hitting for me. And it feels like every chapter was trying to have that big oh shit moment this week, but just a lot of them did not land. But the ones that did landed pretty fucking hard. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think I can co-sign that. Do we want to just jump into the first series then?
Yeah, we do have to wade through the muck this week, unfortunately, y'all.
Oh shit! Yeah, of course.
We've got some muck we gotta get through.
Muck. The M stands for monthly.
You're not wrong. So the first one.
I'm not insulting Choujin because Choujin isn't monthly.
No, Choujin is just whatever the hell.
Yeah, Choujin's whenever Ishida feels like it.
Which is the best, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Jesus. So the first one's going to be Vigilantes.
Hey, it's ending.
Thank
Uh,
Christ for that, huh?
it's ending actually this coming Friday. The final chapter is coming out. And who golly, I kind of am happy about that.
Yeah,
This
I
was
mean, it's pretty neat that he gets to like be a hero now, I guess,
mhm.
which is like, all right, leave it to America to fucking to allow
uh,
criminals to become heroes.
you have a history of property damage and unlawful destruction. Law enforcement, it is, buddy. I mean, yeah, literally.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, but I mean, this chapter's fine. Like, I feel like now that it's ending, this chapter and the final chapter are very much gonna fall into that, goodbye honeymoon phase. Where it's like, oh, it's over. Oh, it's cute. There's resolutions to characters
Oh
I
yeah.
forgot that
Next
I don't
week's
care
episode,
about.
all of a sudden, everyone's gonna act like Vigilantes is the best shit that's ever been made, for sure, for
Oh,
like a solid month.
dude, do you know how many people think Vigilantes is better than the main series?
There's no way they still think that now.
Oh, dude,
I
people are screaming that.
okay, I remember people saying it before, and I could kind of get it back when like Knuckle Duster was a thing. There is
Hmm.
no fucking way that people still think that after a year straight of One Punch being thrown in the same fight.
Yeah,
Could you
that.
fucking imagine if actual MHA just had like Deku and Shigaraki exchange one attack and 700 speech bubbles for literally a year?
I mean, to be completely fair, flashback to like the early episodes of Shonen Chill. That was what we didn't like about Shigaraki and Deku during the war arc.
I know, and that was already too long, and that was not as long as
That was nowhere near
Vigilantes
like this.
fighting between two characters who like don't even really have that much built up between them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Vigilantes, now that we kind of know where it's ending, because I don't think there's going to be like a huge tie-in in the final chapter besides like maybe a cameo or something.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
they flashed Nomu,
yeah,
and they were like, "Hey,
like
look at this." Eh.
yeah, like at most, I feel like Vigilante's going to end up as one of those take it or leave it kind of series.
I'm
Um,
hoping the last chapter is just like he walks into the hospital bed and they kiss and that's it. Like that's all. I
yeah,
don't want anything else. I don't want to flash forward to him like watching the news and it's like Stars and Stripes killed and Captain Douchebag or whatever his friend is like, that's it. We got to go to Japan. And he's like
yeah,
suiting up. Like, no, I don't want that.
yeah.
I don't want that, please.
And then the week after he shows up in MHA, does punches an enemy twice and then leaves.
He shows up, high fives Mirio and leaves.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
He shows up, meets All Might, faints. That's it. No, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the thing is, I don't want it to tie into My Hero too much because the more it ties into it, the more mandatory this will become as like reading material. And dear God, I do not want to have to recommend Vigilantes to people if I
Yeah,
want to recommend an
God.
MHA.
Vigilantes is just, it's messy.
Yeah, like I already have to recommend them at least one part of Vigilantes, the Kurogiri stuff. The Shirakumo
Mm-hmm.
flashback. Which, by the way, I reread a bit of Vigilantes while I was sick, just because I was like, oh, it's ending, whatever. That flashback genuinely has no business being in Vigilantes. It's so jarring.
Yeah,
Like,
that was that random portion of Vigilantes. They were just like, oh, this is an Aizawa backstory now.
yeah,
For like, what
like
the fuck? Why?
Aizawa walks into a shot, goes, interesting. Flashback happens. Aizawa is walking out of the shot. Like, it has no bearing on anything.
Nope.
It genuinely feels like it was ripped out of the main story and plopped in there for the sake of cross marketing because it just doesn't fit at all. Meanwhile, the main story would obviously benefit from that flashback being in there. But I mean, I've done this song and dance like a billion times. It's one of
Yeah,
my
this is
biggest
not
gripes of
new
Vigilantes.
new
Yeah,
information.
yeah. For this chapter, at the very least, yeah, it's cool that he's the sky crawler now. That's a very sort of nice conclusion to the character. For the love of God, don't have him meet Deku. Don't have it be revealed that like, oh, actually, Deku almost gave up on his dream of being a hero, but then he saw the Skycrawler on TV.
Oh fuck, that's what it's gonna be, isn't it?
One day Koichi saw a crying child and told him you can achieve your dreams, and that child was Deku Midoriya. I have definitely made this joke before, but it's just that shit again. It's like Kim Kardashian helped a young kid with math homework, and that kid grew up to be Albert Einstein.
I'm praying that the ending is self-contained and it's just
Yes.
cute and nice, and then that's it.
Yes, focus on Pop and Koichi. Focus on them being cute and bubbly, and I'm fine. I might even bump up the score.
Yeah, keep your goop out of the proper series though, please.
Yeah, Vigilantes, make them kiss, and you might get the coveted 6.5 out of 10.
Rawest 6 out of 10 I ever saw.
Yeah, that's honestly the best. That's honestly a good way to describe it. Like, it had good shit in it, like Knuckle Duster and Number 6. And I mean, the Aizawa flashback, despite its misplacement, is good, right? Like it has good shit in it, but it's fundamentally on a DNA level a 6 out of 10.
Just
like,
in its genes.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. It was born with but one quirk, and that quirk is 6 out of 10. Okay, I feel like we've chatted on it enough.
All
like, you
right.
get the picture.
Yeah,
We're not fond of
shit bad.
Vigilantes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right. Next up is Choujin X.
Oh, look at that. A good series.
Yeah, well, thankfully the app sought to break the muck up a little bit by slipping something good in the middle.
Mhm.
We're right back in the trash right after this, so don't worry.
Ooh, preview. But yeah, no, this chapter was really good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I still feel like the what you call the Bakugo complex kind of came out of nowhere.
I mean, I don't know if it came out of nowhere, because there were like hints in the earlier chapters that his relation to Tokyo isn't completely amicable. That, like, they're friends, but on what's his name? Hazuma's
Azuma, I think.
Yeah. Like, on his side, there's, like, I don't know, this weird antagonism towards him. We've seen it before, especially sort of in the post Shojin chapters, like when
Well,
Tokyo
that I
was
feel
already
like
transformed.
that part kind of made sense to me because it was like he was used to being the one taking care of him, and then now that it's turned around, he feels powerless in comparison. I guess I never chalked it up as like this specific little dweeb is my nemesis.
Well, I think it's just sort of like he's again, like, I'm thinking very much in terms of Bakugo, because fuck, man, I spent 2 weeks learning quirks by heart.
It's all you've got in there now.
Literally, I don't like. My dad has like a doctor's appointment this week that I have to like bring him to. I don't remember when that is, but I sure as hell know whose quirk wooden swords for hands is. It's Plant Chomper, by the way. No, but to get back at Choujin, I don't know. I think it's sort of this feeling of he's defined himself so strongly by the fact that he's better than people, that the only thing he fears is realizing that he isn't. And that's 100% a Bakugo thing, or at least, most recently been shown with Bakugo. And I feel like this is sort of a more, I guess, edgy way of doing it, but also kind of more of a realistic one, where it's like he wasn't like bullying Tokyo, he wasn't awful to him. They were friends, really, but like deep down there was this like tingle of, oh god, what if he gets good at literally anything?
Right.
Like, I cannot define myself by my superiority anymore. Which, yeah, I don't know. I can believe that. Like, people will be nice to you, but still sort of, see you as someone that just reaffirms how good they are. The most stereotypical example, I guess, would be the ugly friend.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, no, I can believe it. Like, it definitely exploded very suddenly, but I mean, the guy died. I can understand and accept that that's an emotional situation, right? Like, I'm fully accepting of this.
Yeah, I'm not like bothered by it. I think it's just because like I framed him in a much more positive light, I think, coming into this point, where to me he was like trying to be useful and grappling with the fact that he wasn't anymore. So now this like reframes a whole lot of it. Like, oh, actually, he's kind of like a dumbass idiot. Like, I'm gonna go fight these Choujin to prove that I am better, not like to actually help. And also, his power's kind of gross. He's got like a head of chains in a bag.
Yeah.
What does
Like,
that
that's his
mean?
head,
I don't
right?
know. I think so.
Is it his head? Because it looks like it's coming out of his arms in that one shot.
I don't know, because it looks like he's like grabbing his head, and
Oh,
he's like,
yes, you're
and
right.
then there's like the big panel of his hands like in his head, and he's like pulling it out of his head bag.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting ability. Like, on one hand we have a guy who can turn into a bird, and then
Birdman,
we have
yeah.
is made out of chains of eternal torment. That's a funky power system. But no, this was very cool. I also really liked sort of the little glimpse of the lore we get with like the Choujin War.
Yeah, the
But that was
actual
pretty
information in
interesting.
the beginning, back to like when it first started.
Yeah, and of course the art is always so good with Yoshida.
Oh yeah,
God, I love how
Choujin's art's
raw
always
it
been
looks.
fucking crazy.
Like, it's so raw.
Also, I like fights on like freeways and shit. I don't know why, they're fucking cool. Just like the whole, I like any fight that's not just in the woods or in like grass.
Quick, Vegeta, we have to go to a remote location. No, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
actually, yes, though. Like, I can understand it coming from like certain series where like, because in Dragon Ball, it would make sense that Goku is not just wantonly destroying a city or whatever by blowing it up, because he and Vegeta would just obliterate half the planet or whatever while they're fighting. So I get it. But it's nice. Like, Boruto has this problem where no matter where they fight ever, it's always reduced to just flat rocky terrain. I
and the
assume so that
forest,
they don't
maybe.
have to draw it. But
Yeah,
like
I
that,
mean,
but it's still like, fuck. You like, you live in a big city and you're fighting in it, so why are you in like the equivalent of the park? It would be pretty cool if one of the bad guys was not like, yeah, okay, we can fight in these woods. I won't cause any collateral damage to your hometown because you wouldn't like that, so we'll just fight here, even though I want to kill you.
But here's the thing. I almost wonder if that's a side effect of Dragon Ball's influence throughout the industry, because a lot of like, especially sort of, once you get into the Z portion of the series, a lot of the fights do take place kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I feel like that has almost produced, or for a while at least, produced this feeling of wanting fights to happen almost in like arenas, right, where it's just character versus character, no outside factors. And I mean, I have no like data to back this up, but I do feel like lately a lot of manga have tried to like get free of that. Like, if you think of Jujutsu Kaisen and now Shoujin, where like basically no fight ever happens in isolation. It's always somewhere. Like, especially in Jujutsu Kaisen, right? Everything is in urban centers besides like the forest arc, which is
Right.
very much an outlier. Like the fight with the Demon Brothers or the Death Paintings, right? They're on the highway, kidnap cars and shit like that. Like, I feel like we're seeing sort of a reversal of that arena syndrome.
Yeah, like I think
But
Sakamoto's a good example of that too, where almost everything they do is in a public center.
Yeah, or like has some context behind it. Like in today's chapter, right? Like, oh, they are fighting in the woods, like on a beach, basically. But oh no, they find the crashed plane and fight inside the crashed plane. But yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. It makes it more dynamic. Means that there's stage hazards, so to speak, and opportunities for dramatic finishers.
Those are banned.
Shit. I'm sorry. I forgot competitive players hate fun.
Yeah, so that's illegal.
Oh well.
And it's just funny to me because like with Dragon Ball, to an extent, I get it, because like I said, that their power sets make using the environment almost pointless, right? Because sometimes they do, like, you'll see it a lot in the Toei filler stuff, like in the anime, where Vegeta and Goku are fighting, and when he's Majin Vegeta, and he like chains Goku to a rock, and so Goku uses the rock to punch him in the face or whatever. But it's like, getting hit by a rock ain't really gonna do that much to Vegeta anyway. I mean, so you can't really do but so much with it because they're all like Superman. But there's a lot of series that aren't like that, where it still feels like they're just like doing kung fu, but they're doing it in a flat open field for no real reason.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it has given rise to one of the funniest memes to ever come out of anime, which is Vegeta, let's go fight somewhere empty, and then just the cinema hall of a movie you don't like.
Yeah, I love that one. I actually really like the one where it was like, oh, Kakarot, I told you the midnight showing of Morbius would be crowded. And Goku was like, you're right, Vegeta. This is a Morbius sweep.
The first movie to make $1 more billion.
Jared Leto's the world's first more billionaire.
God, more billionaire. That sounds like sounds like a slur. I'm not gonna lie.
I hope we can make it one.
More billionaire. I would prefer less billionaires, if you know what I mean. Have you seen Morbius?
Oh God, no.
Me neither. I don't think it ran here.
I have limited time in my life, and I'm not gonna spend it there.
Not gonna spend on an advertisement for the US's most thirsted after cult leader.
Yeah, that's weird, by the way. That's not even slander. He's actually
a cult leader.
It's super weird. I looked into it the other day. It's fucking wild. And you spend like $7,000 to go to his cult island and like sit in his presence for a while.
Yeah, and so it's like an island, and he has like how many worshippers does he actually have?
Oh, I don't have a number offhand, but it's enough to fund a private island.
Damn. I guess that's what he will use his more $1 billion for. Brainwashing of the innocent youth. You'll love to see it? Question mark.
I imagine it's not the youth. I imagine it's like middle-aged women. I don't know why. That's the vibe I get from him.
I guess. I mean, he's rich and he's pretty, but like in a Jesus loves you kind of way pretty.
Yeah, so. He's not like bad boy pretty. He's like conventionally attractive, but looks like he'd be very shy to meet your parents.
Mm-hmm.
But also apparently he's like a freak and he constantly texts underage girls. So I don't know, man.
I mean, he's a Hollywood actor. At this point, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I guess, and he's also a musician of a band that caters mostly to like an angsty teenage audience, I think. So.
Wait. I feel like I noticed. Is this band 30 Seconds to Mars?
Yeah.
Fuck, I actually used to like their songs when I was younger.
He's the stage persona of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Damn. I wish I could come up with a smart joke like that, but my brain is still fried from coughing for 2 weeks. I feel like there's something there, but do we want to move on since we've not talked about Choujin for like?
Yeah, it was a fight chapter. It was a good fight chapter.
Yes, it was a good fight chapter. Don't take our tangents to mean that we weren't interested. We are old men and we like talking about anything but what matters.
Yeah, we just like talking. We like hearing ourselves speak.
Yeah, we like going, oh, well, back in my day, we walked 7 miles to school backwards on one leg.
We walked 15 miles uphill both ways to go see Morbius.
Back in my day, we just shut up and sat down and watched Morbius.
and watched Morbius in peace.
We didn't watch Morbius. We sat our asses down and listened.
We took in Morbius.
We
really live with the true meaning behind Morbius.
We allowed our minds to get morbed.
It's too hard for you kids to get morbed these days with your faces buried in your phones.
The government put masks on you specifically to stop the spread of the morbing.
That vaccine, all it does is stop you from getting morbed.
It's not a vaccine. It's a Jared Leto repellent. I take it back. We're not two old men. We're just deranged.
That's why Morbius got such bad ratings, because everyone was vaccinated by then.
Oh,
it's all been manipulated by the government.
The mainstream media. The lamestream media
trying to keep Morbius down.
Sad 7 exclamation marks. Okay, all right. Speaking of boomers,
Yeah.
speaking of
Oh
boomers, I
God.
believe there's
It's
a boomer shit
it's
coming.
Dragon Ball Super time. Dragon Ball Super
Oh,
feels like, remember when I don't know how, well, you're like a little bit younger than me. Were
yeah.
you like of movie going age when the Star Wars prequels came out?
Uh, just about. Like, I think I watched the Revenge of the Sith in the movie when it came out.
Okay. Did your parents, or whoever you went with, really like the old Star Wars movies?
No.
Okay. So you don't have any context for this. But Dragon Ball Super is exactly like what the prequels were to my Star Wars obsessed father when they first came out. Cuz it was
Oh
like,
God.
brother, you're like 50. You need to calm down a little bit. it's
Mm-hmm.
not it's not 1976 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, damn, this shit ain't that good, and y'all are still like fighting about it, and it's weird because every fight about it is always one of two things. It's always, damn, this ruins the original, which no, it doesn't. Just don't read it. Just only read the old
Mm-hmm.
one. Or two, actually, no, it doesn't ruin the original. Which just read it and shut up then. Like fucking god, it's not to be that guy because we literally just make a show about shitting on manga 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but damn, it really is crazy how the arc cycle of Dragon Ball Twitter is just as stale as the arc cycle of Dragon Ball Super.
Life does imitate art
Right,
after
it
all.
really does.
Okay, so here's my hottest take. Uh, I believe that you can, as a person, get invested in anything if you care about it genuinely, and that's great. However, I will make an exception and say that Dragon Ball is just not good enough to get mad about. Like, as a whole, and I'm including the old series in it. Like, it had its glory, it's been gone, buried, and resuscitated for the last 30 years. For the love of God, just get over it. Right? Like, if you don't like the new shit, don't read it. If you never liked it to begin with, like me, complain about it on your personal podcast and then move on. Right? Like, it's bizarre to me that we're still talking about Dragon Ball in 2022. Like,
And
for the love of God.
it's weird too that this chapter caused like so much of an uproar that like it was all over my feed, and I actively try not to look for Dragon Ball shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 2 pages of anything that's not just punches. What are
Yeah.
you so mad about?
Yeah, and like, okay, fine. Let's talk about the wish, right? So the thing is that his wish allowed them to like grow to adulthood or whatever and like
Not get
thrive.
killed by Frieza, I guess.
Yeah. People are like, "Oh, this like invalidates all of Dragon Ball because it protected them all the time." I'm going to go out on a limb and say that whenever Goku died the first time, that wish would have been void.
Right,
Like
like the
he
the wish obviously would have been voided when they killed each other.
yeah, right? Like Raditz and Goku die in episode what 5 of DBZ. Like that's it. Everything from that point onwards cannot be affected by this wish, or if it is, then this
Dragon fucking sucks.
well no, if it is affected after that, then A, the dragon fucking sucks, but B, also the rules of these Dragon Balls must be fucking like enormous. Like God, influencing someone beyond death. Have we seen that in Dragon Ball before?
I mean, if you count like the afterlife shit.
I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Do we count it?
I don't know.
Does
I
anything count?
I feel like we're already going down this dangerous rabbit hole of trying to interpret Dragon Ball like Akira
Oh
Toriyama
yeah,
did not write it on the back of a sweaty napkin every afternoon before he had to turn it into his editor. Like,
true enough.
Dragon Ball Twitter has made like a name for itself by putting significantly more thought into Dragon Ball than Akira Toriyama did or ever will.
Yeah, and like I want to make it clear because I mean we both put too much thought into cartoons as well, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't here. I definitely wouldn't be here. In the capacity that I
Sure.
am. So we don't have a problem with people like interpreting shit and trying to find meaning in stuff. But I think that going so far as to write multiple think pieces every week about this shit when and again, Dragon Ball is a specific case of a series that not only is I'm sorry, really stupid for loads of its runtime, but it's also been dead for 30 years. Like, for the love of God, move on. I'm sorry. I'm so sick of seeing someone write 50 tweets about how, oh, actually, this shows how Goku's character developed. Like, no, Goku's character never developed. It's all in your head. He barely exists anymore. Like,
There
Dragon
is
Ball
no
was
Goku.
written.
He can't hurt you.
Yes, there is no Vegeta character development. It's all in your head. I'm sorry. Like, I have never seen people be this ass mad about a series that ended at a time when they were a twinkle in their dad's eyes.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because like a lot of these people I know, they're like, oh, that's my childhood, and it's like, yeah, so like you liked it when you're like 4, but like you're not sitting here like shrieking over the new Pokemon. I hope not, anyway. Over the
I
new
mean,
like
okay, to be fair, some people are.
that. Okay,
Let's be
all
real.
right, you're right. They probably exist. It's fine, but it's
Yeah.
just so weird. Like I went back to look at the line where he makes the wish that everyone is like
Mm-hmm.
foaming over, and it's
Mm-hmm.
literally one line. And he was like, I would wish that my sons thrived, and then he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how has this caused a month and a half of like the original series is destroyed? Dog, just stop. Stop reading it.
Yeah.
Stop acknowledging it. It's a
Yeah.
shitty spin-off designed to get money out of you because you really liked Dragon Ball when you were 9, and market research shows that the best way to get a lot of money is to make new shit from stuff that people really liked when they were 9.
Yeah.
Stop
I mean,
fighting it so stop giving it so much power over you.
again, like, I will make an exception and say that no, Dragon Ball is actually not worth all of this thought. You deserve better. Like, this is a series that's been over. It's been over, dead, buried, brought back to life like 7 different times. For the love of God, just move on. It's the same with Star
It's
Wars.
just like a
right?
diseased zombie corpse of Goku and Vegeta shambling around.
Oh, dude, I unironically, zombie Dragon Balls will be better than this shit. Because at the very least, it would be something new, right? It would
Yeah,
be something.
that's the thing for me, is that I can't get excited about the cycle anymore. It's just not there for me, you know?
Yeah, like that's the other thing, right? Like, all these discussions, all these think pieces, they happen for shit that is literally just a reference to a reference to a reference to something original that was written, again, when we were not even conceived. Like, it's no, I get so mad about this more than I should probably, but I've been sick. You have to give me that. You have to give me some unreasonableness. It just makes me so mad that people invest so much energy into something that is just so obviously not worth it. Like, just put this energy, please. If you want to write think pieces and be annoying, sure, whatever. I can't stop you. Do it for something that's actually relevant right now, right? Like, do it for anything that is currently trying to establish itself as a new series, or as something that matters in today's age. Because I cannot think of a series that should matter less in 2022 than fucking Dragon Ball. And it's not like I'm disrespecting Toriyama, because Toriyama agrees.
Yeah,
right?
Toriyama's like, for the love of God.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm so excited to help make this new movie. And by help, I mean write one line of dialogue and a single, like, piece of concept art, and hope that Toei turns it into a money printing machine. No, I think a lot of the behavior, especially sort of in Dragon Ball Twitter, is so weird and terminally online. Like, I don't know if you saw that guy who was like, oh, Mark made a video on how the wish ruins
Yeah, his
the
like
thing.
stupid, horrifying, bad video. I have now written my own horrifying video in response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's damaging the fandom. My brother in Christ, that is not a real thing. You are foaming at the mouth. Go look at the sun, for the love of God.
Yeah,
Like,
just
the
wait till Dragon
moment.
Ball Twitter finds out that thing that Goku keeps blasting people into in the movies is real. That's a reference to real life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I tried. I want to come up with something clever, but I'm actually like so annoyed because my
This is
feed was
actually
so
like
full of this shit.
like kind of a worthwhile discussion here too, though. Is like, does stuff like Super and Boruto kind of piss you off because instead of propping up like these new properties that are trying to establish themselves and could be something new and great, we're on like the 57th anniversary of Dragon Ball and also Rugrats Naruto edition. Like it's such like transparent consumerism because you know that there's absolutely zero like spark of creative passion that went into making more Dragon Ball. Like you could just call Dragon Ball Super more Dragon Ball and it would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like people wouldn't even give a shit. Like it would be the same thing. And
Mm-hmm.
Boruto, you know, was obviously made in a boardroom by like 47 old men who were like,
Mm-hmm.
people really like Naruto and they really like the beginning part of Naruto. Let's do it again, but to gender swap around the fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there are so many good series right now that feel like they're being made by people who have a story that they want to tell, and these two are not it. But I
Well, it's
see
not
all the
even.
discussion on my fucking timeline about these two just garbage fires.
Well, here's the other thing, of course, that Super and Boruto do is they hijack any new and like interesting stuff you could say about the old series. Right? Like if you're talking about Dragon Ball or Naruto in 2022, you're gonna get people who are gonna ask you about Super and Boruto instead, and it's like no, actually, there is good shit to appreciate in the old series in both cases, and I do not. It genuinely does piss me off that like the conversation gets overtaken by these absolutely soulless cash grabs. Like it's so as you said, it's so transparent. And if you are in my mentions praising Boruto, I take that as like a personal offense. Like, speaking of
The
not seeing
shittiest
the
hate
sun,
comment you could leave is, I think Boruto's pretty good, actually.
yeah, like you can literally tell me to go kill myself, and I'll be like, haha, that loser sucks. If you tell me that you enjoyed an auto second of Boruto, I will be like screaming, having a seizure, vomiting on my floor. Like it's not. Please, every time you like Boruto, Oceans loses one of his teeth. I don't have many left. Please. It's getting hard to eat. I mean, okay, like let's temper this a little. I hope people realize that we're being hyperbolic. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, but some of this is for the giggles, but the heart of it is
Yeah,
still there. Where like,
yeah,
couldn't you put this energy toward like new lore and new series and new like things to experience instead of like the 75th anniversary of the same thing that you've been watching since you were 9?
yeah. Like people who, oh God, no, I'm gonna start saying meaner shit and meaner shit.
Okay,
Like,
maybe we should
yeah,
move on if you're gonna start
no,
spiraling.
I've been spiraling since we started this segment. This is my trigger. I don't know. It sometimes just feels like people who are so stuck on Dragon Ball just love role playing as boomers. Role playing as original fans. We're like, oh, nothing that's come out
Oh
since
yeah,
has touched
anime
Dragon
back in
Ball.
my day kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like anime back in your day was Naruto
Yeah,
or like
yeah, you were
Bleach, not
5
Dragon
years
Ball.
old when Dragon Ball and Yu Yu Hakusho were on TV. Anime
Yeah,
back in your day was like the big 3,
yeah, yeah. I
which
mean, okay, nowadays it's even worse. Nowadays, anime back in your day was Death Note. Like, that's the other thing. Okay, fellas, please don't take this the wrong way. If you are born after the year 2000, I don't believe you. It just doesn't. No, people are not born after the year 2000.
that's when the human race stopped reproducing.
Yeah, no, everyone who looks young and pretends to be born after the year 2000, fake, fraud, bot, lamestream
Robots,
media,
fucking robots.
fake news. I can't cope with. I can't
Every
cope with
child
that.
is a replicant.
Yeah. Oh, dude, when people say shit like, "Oh, my favorite like childhood game is The Witcher 3, which released in 2015," I'm like, I succumb to the urge to harm myself or someone else. It's God.
Yeah, if you
Age is
didn't
such a
grow up
fucked up
playing
thing.
video games that looked like Lego people, you're not real.
If you didn't grow up with a video game console that could either play the game or blow up, uh,
90% chance game played, but 10% chance grenade at any time.
if you never had to defuse an N64 by blowing on it,
If you were never behind your N64, like, oh fuck, which cable? Which one do I click?
oh my, dude, people don't even remember like plugging in VGA cables with like the multiple colors and trying to figure out where they go. Like, I mean, okay, to be fair, I guess we are kind of circling around to being hypocrites because now we are role playing as
Yeah,
boomers.
we're now
Like,
pretending to be back in our day. The only difference is shit. What we don't think that shit was better. That shit sucked.
I mean, yes,
That
that
was
is true.
so awful.
That is like people say like, oh, video games were so much better back in the day. Yeah, dude, I loved 10 FPS with screen tearing. That
Yeah,
was
no,
great.
they weren't. Dude, video games back in the day were purely designed to irritate the fuck out of you for as long as possible, so that you would keep playing because it's the only one you've
Yeah,
had.
yeah.
Which is why you played Sonic or like Mario for 9 hours, and then you died, and they were like, "Well, fucking restart that. Good luck."
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna finish this segment with the hottest take of the video. I don't think there's any legitimate reason to like Super Mario games. They're all overrated as fuck, and the like industry being so centered and so influenced by it is an op. That's a scam. And I think with this we can move on. Actually, no. Okay, let's go back to Super because I do want to say some good shit. All right, like I
Okay.
do want to balance it out.
All
I
right.
All right. I liked the paneling and the page flow in this. I thought it was actually pretty good for Toyotaro standards. If you go to like page 24, when you have like that energy trail in the top left corner of the page,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a really nice dynamic curve there, and then it leads your eye to where Goku is like popped up
Up in the
behind
top
gas.
corner, yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool because you go from this very dynamic panel to like a standstill, and it really gives you that feeling of he's just appeared there, he's like hanging in midair, ready to do the karate chop. Like that's good shit, and all of this chapter has this. Like if there's one thing Toyotaro mastered now that I think he needed to master if he wanted to follow up Toriyama was using the energy trails as a good way of doing cool pages, and I think he's done it. I think he's really gotten good at this. And hey, we got a double spread, which is a rarity in these monthly series for
Yes,
some
I
reason.
thought it was kind of ugly, but we got it.
There's this weird white gap right in the middle between like the bottom panels. I don't get why that is there, but it's fine. I'm glad we just got one.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I feel like something about the way that Vegeta looks in it is like fucking me up. Maybe it's just because his new form is ugly as sin, and it's
He
just
looks
him.
like
It's just himself, but without eyebrows.
yeah. I think it's the fact that he looks like a Sonic character
He
in
kind of
that bottom
does,
panel.
doesn't he?
Yeah, he has like the Shadow the Hedgehog hair.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know.
Okay. I think I've run out of good things to say. Like the choreo. I mean, okay, balancing. All right. This was 90% a fight chapter, and the fight choreography was good.
It was okay. It suffers
like
from
that.
a lot of late game Dragon Ball stuff where there's panels of them like standing still, but there's little punchy marks around the panel meant to be like
True.
they're so look how fast they are or like whatever. But it all in all, it was pretty interesting. Like for the way they portrayed the fights. I'm kind of tired of these fights already because like the mystique of Ultra Instinct is largely gone. It's just these new forms are literally just Vegeta without eyebrows and Goku without needing to fill his hair in with black ink. Now, like
Yeah.
there's no allure to them anymore. So it's just they're just fighting, and it like to an extent that's fine. But after a while, the fights need to stop. It's the same thing I have with like Vigilantes. That fight was way too fucking long. They've been fighting this dweeb for too long now, and they need to hurry up and kill him because there's only so many like rematches that I can handle. Super does this a lot, and I guess the original Dragon Ball did too. I don't want to go back through and time it out myself, but like Super has a lot of fights where our boys get washed, they get away, they get healed, they go back and do it again, they get washed, they get away, they learn some bullshit, they come back, and we're on like our third time now of like getting washed because we got washed by Granola, then we came back. And then Granola got washed by this dude, and then we stepped in and got washed, and then we got away, and now we're back healed again to fight him again. And I'm guessing Granola will probably come back again and also help them. And with any luck, fucking die, because his wish used up all of his lifespan, and we'll never have to see any of these characters again.
Yeah. It's a long series of characters getting washed, which is actually a brilliant reference to the fact that is exactly what Dragon Ball fans should do: wash themselves.
Actually, this brings up another point that I want to talk about why I hate Dragon Ball Super, because we've already been here for 45 minutes, so we might as well keep going. I really hate how Dragon Ball, because it's appealing to people who liked it when they were 9, like by design, everything has to end like a Seinfeldian sitcom ending, where we're just back to like normalcy.
Yeah.
Right? Like no matter
Status
what
quo.
happens, especially because it takes place between the end of like Boo and the actual end of Dragon Ball Z. It's not like between Z and whatever the fuck comes after or whatever the fuck. It has to inevitably reach the endpoint where Goku leaves with Oob, right? So nothing can really happen ultimately.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, nothing can happen. The best you can do is be like, oh, all the other characters just conveniently didn't show up. Like, I assume that's just what they're going to do, is like at the end of Super, Beerus and Whis are going to be like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
For 55 years. Bye.
Actually, no, the final chapter of Dragon Ball Super is gonna be Goku shoots Beerus with a Glock.
Actually, there's not going to be a final chapter of Dragon Ball Super, because this is just going to go on in perpetuity until it stops making money.
Literally until it gets cancelled. Like, there's absolutely... And then when it gets cancelled, it's gonna get that, and then they lived well until Goku left to help an orphan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's actually move on from this chapter. My final words on it. The gag where the Namekian puts Saiyan clothes on Goku and Vegeta, and they go, "What the fuck? I don't want to wear this." That was funny.
Yeah,
that
was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Okay.
We have just reached weekly chapters. We're doing great on time.
Yeah. This is what happens when we don't record for a week. All we want to do is bitch.
Yeah.
Next up is Ayashimon.
All right. So we were wrong about it getting canceled.
Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God. I started this chapter and I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck is happening? But once I realized that this was sort of like a meta, like
Mario
fake
in his own
flashback.
head, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I thought that was really cool. That was actually a nice way to frame it.
Yeah, I thought it was, because, you know, his whole life revolves around, like, loving manga. And stuff. So it's cool to think of himself as, like, wanting to be part of that world. I liked that. Obviously, I like the Jonathan Joestar reference. Of course. Can't hate on that. I actually really like the picture where he's all fucked up on page 6. Thought that was pretty sufficiently, like, terrifying looking. And I like the concept that the butler man, like, leaned too hard into the power, and the personality he was copying took over. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. But I think you mentioned it in the intro. Boy, am I having trouble caring.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know what it is necessarily. I feel like maybe it's because you shouldn't use your final boss this way.
Yeah.
It feels like you're cheapening him a little bit. It also feels like we're kind of getting overdosed on him. Because, like, he was just the big thing. And then we went off to recruit the biker gang to be able to more actively fight him, because we couldn't fight him one-on-one. We needed, like, support. And now we're fighting, like, air quotes, him. And it's a little much. Like, you're kind of flooding it here. Also, the rescue, like, is not a rescue anymore.
It's just a big fight arc.
It's just a fight now. They're all just teaming up to stop this guy. And I assume that's how they're going to join forces to fight him for real, is because they're going to be, like, tested in battle together, blah, blah, blah. You helped us, we helped you. We're friends now, kind of thing. Don't really give a shit. Also, the last page, I assume, was supposed to be pretty cool. There's a lot of these this week that's weird to me, where the last page, I assume, was meant to be, like, sick. And a lot of them don't land. And this is one that did not land. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think Ayashimon is weird to me because I go between caring and not caring. And this week was one of those where I really just could not be fucked. Like, it's cool. It's fine, and I'm glad that it's for now not getting canceled. But yeah, I'm having a hard time getting invested. For what it's worth, though, I think sort of, as you said, the overtaking of the guy is a pretty cool, like, monkey wrench. I feel like that's a good way to upset an arc structure. It's a shame that it's just turned into a big brawl now as opposed to a rescue arc. However, it being a brawl means I don't have to think about the fact that they're inside a mind's testicle right
That's
now.
true, that they're going ham inside of some dude's ballsack.
Dude, that ball sack must be musty. Never,
Didn't one of
ever
them
clip
say
that.
they picked up on a smell?
Yeah, that smells sort of like animals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Gross.
Uh, yeah, gross.
Gross.
Ball sack out of 10 this week.
All right. The next is Akane-Banashi.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Like,
Yeah.
fun, yeah. So did you know about the Jugemu before this?
Of course not.
'Cause I did actually.
Really?
Yes, because have you ever watched the Full Metal Alchemist like joke spin-off?
No.
Well, joke spin-off. They're just like DVD extras. So in those, they do the scene where like the like Hitler, like Full Metal Alchemist Hitler, King Bradley.
Mm-hmm.
Is he Bradley? Yeah. He asks Scar what is his name, and in the main series, obviously he says, "Oh, I have no name." And in the joke chapter, he goes, "My name is Jugamo, and all of this shit." And then King Bradley's like, "What a coincidence! My name is also this." And then it's just them reciting the entire thing.
That's
And
pretty funny, actually.
funnily enough, that special has a dub, and in the dub they replaced all of these like Japanese words with like Henry, Jake, Carl, and shit like that. So it's just like 62 white ass names one after another.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's how I know it from. But back to Akane, this was cool. Like I like this little challenge that she's been issued and how they're going about like solving it. I feel like that's really nice and not as straightforward as I was worried it might be. That she just goes up to the dude and talks to him.
Yeah, and I like
The old guy.
that apparently the teacher here is like acquainted with her dad in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we know that relationship already. I'm guessing we don't, because I assume this was meant to be a reveal
Mm-hmm.
in the little flashback. But I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
a lot of the backstory of Akane-Banashi is lost on me, other than guy was dick to dad.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. And again, this is I think another one though for me where I think the ending was meant to be like whoa, and I'm like I don't.
Disheveled man looks less disheveled when on
Whoa,
stage.
he looks suave on stage. Wow. I don't care.
Wow.
Yeah.
People prettying themselves up for big occasions. What? Like I don't know. That's just what you do.
Yeah. I don't know. I actually thought it was cool that the old backstory of the gag was that his name was so long that he fucking dies because no one can call for help for him. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But that's not really anything Akane-Banashi did, if that's even true. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's true, and I think one thing that Akane-Banashi did here that's cool is sort of link the art form of Rakugo to history. To sort of like, okay, doing art, it doesn't just mean doing it in isolation. You have to understand sort of its history because there are times when that will be useful. And I think that's cool. It's again sort of a very, I don't know if it's mature or realistic or just it's a cool way of connecting art to something a bit more real. And I like that this series is taking itself seriously enough to also go down that route, basically.
Yeah,
and
I do like the criticism that the disheveled guy gives too, where it's like you're making the sounds but you're not saying the words. That sounds like nothing, but it's a nice little segue to be like you're going through the motions, but you don't fully understand what you're doing other than like, oh, this is how I do this thing, right? It's almost like something you've learned from watching a YouTube video, but you haven't put the work into the backstory of like why you're doing those things.
Yeah, like it's almost he's almost criticizing that for her Rakugo is like a mechanical process and not an expression.
Right. She's almost doing it like she's studied her dad do it, and so she does what he does, and she's really good at it, but like she's not treating it the same way as someone who's like using it as a form of self-expression. And I don't know if maybe that's meant to be a criticism of what she got into it for, where she's like, because it's for her dad and not necessarily for her in a vacuum. I don't know because we haven't gotten there
Mm-hmm.
yet. But it is
Mm-hmm.
an interesting criticism because a lot of times you'll see people in any sort of series where like art is glorified as like, oh, you're doing the art thing. That's the
Mm-hmm.
best thing you can possibly do.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how much Akane-Banashi is like, are you sure you want to do this? And if you do, why? And if you're doing it, are you doing it for your like the right reasons, or are you treating it in a respectful way?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think helps undercut the fact that Rakugo portrayed on page is kind of difficult to follow and weird sometimes.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how you have to do it, right? You have to build an interesting framework around it. If the base action isn't that interesting to watch on paper,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean I'm happy with how Akane-Banashi is turning out. Like it's interesting because it's like it's not quite episodic, but it's also very much not like heavy plot driven, like mystique and intrigue. Like it's a story that has things that happen in it, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it is what it
Yeah.
is, and I'm okay with it too. I don't know. Again, this is
Yeah.
one where like I like a lot of the series in theory, but then in
Hmm.
practice every week I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you know,
Uh, I know. I get the feeling. Like it's okay. Let's give it an okay out of 10.
solid-ish out of 10.
Yeah. Like I read it and I didn't regret it.
I'm
So
not sad that I read it out of 10.
exactly. Yeah.
Next up is going to be Witch Watch.
This was one of the first chapters of Witch Watch in a hot minute that I actually really liked. Like this
Yeah,
was
I
cute.
haven't really like I came into Witch Watch this week expecting to not give a shit about it because I seriously thought the gag was going to be like, oh, they're gonna do some dumbass magic thing and it's gonna fuck up. And actually, it was
Hmm.
very cute and sweet.
Yeah. It's kind of cool how like it starts with this whole oh no Moi might be cursed thing, and then in the end it's like we don't have to worry. Like the feelings are there, they just need to blossom. And yeah, it's sweet. I thought it was funny how like the spell is so random and weird, and then also the series says it like Kanji's like these spells of yours are always so random. Like yeah, they
Yeah,
actually are.
they are. They're always like complete bullshit for no reason.
Mhm.
I like how
Yeah.
the way this one works is just like seeing bugs and like interpreting what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's two honeybees. That means that you're fun-loving friends. Oh, this is two ladybugs and one's kind of annoying the other one, but they're not too annoyed by it. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like they cast a spell on you, and they ask you like your opinion of someone. And do you know of those like fungi that take over ants' brains and like
Yeah.
dissolve them? Yeah, that starts happening, and everyone in the room just like vomits. That's how you catch serial killers. Or it's like,
Uh,
yeah, let's see what you think of me. Giant spider spawns on head. But yeah, no, this was sweet. This was very
yeah,
sweet.
it was very cutesy.
I think it was very cool as well because, as I said, both of us we've not really been enjoying Witch Watch for a while now, and this chapter reminded me that even through all the bullshit, I do actually really care about seeing Moy and Nico, like just I don't know, stay together and maybe move forward a little.
Yeah,
So
I
as long
thought
as there's like,
the symbolism was cute of like right now that's where they are, but then
mhm,
the butterfly turning into a flower which represents feelings is like that was cute.
yeah, that was cute. That was very nice. Uh, I'm already out of things to say. Do we want to
Yeah,
move
it was
on?
cute.
Yeah, it was cute out of 10.
Better than we usually say out of 10.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's see. Next is going to be Earthchild.
Which was damn.
Yeah, that was heavy.
E- Something about this series just manages to always give me the fuzzies. It's kind of like Blue Box in that sense,
Mm-hmm.
but in a more positive way almost.
Yeah, Blue Box, I get the fuzzies of like anxiousness of the future. Whereas with
We'll get to
Earthchild,
that.
it's just like it's all like I don't know, it's just cute, unbridled like love for other people. And it's hard to not
Hmm.
like it.
Yeah, it's like so sincere and nice. last week's chapter, I read it this morning, and that was a little overly verbose.
Yeah.
Like and this one, I once I noticed in that one, I noticed it here as well, but it didn't bother me as much. But yeah, this series likes having a lot of text boxes.
Yeah, I think by the nature of like what they're dealing with, they kind of have to, because
Yeah, fair.
you're having a conversation between two characters, but this conversation is largely handled
Mm-hmm.
in the character's head.
Mm-hmm.
So you always have these panels where it's enough speech for two people wedged
Mm-hmm.
into one box. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but even so, I think that what we have here is really strong, right? Like the moment when like he tells them that she's still alive, that I don't know, something about that just hit different. Like they just find that out and they're so calm about it. They're just
Yep, and
like,
they're
"Thank you."
immediately like their spirits are back.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
Mm-hmm. Also,
I
this had a wham ending that did hit for me, was the baby
mhm.
recognizing Mama. I was like, oh shit, we're doing the
Yeah.
thing soon.
Isn't it crazy? All these like super elaborate ending shots, like group panels, and then the thing that actually works is a baby slapping an iPad.
Uh-huh. I'm all about
I
it. I'm
mean,
about this
yeah,
baby slapping that iPad.
yes, absolutely. Um, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see sort of how long the series even goes on because it kind of feels like we're getting these obstacles out of the way very quickly.
Yeah, and I don't want to speculate on like industry pressure, because I feel like I have had this view of Earthchild out the gate that it was like doomed for cancellation.
Well, yeah, it's very much not Shonen Jump.
Yeah, it's not a Shonen Jump style kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been tilted in that direction from the get-go, so I don't want to lean too hard into thinking like, oh, it's because they're getting pressure to wrap it up fast or whatever. But it's also possible that it's just a short series. Like,
Yeah,
not
I
every
mean,
series has to be 500 chapters, you know?
yeah, and honestly, I kind of would welcome it. I feel like this is one of those things where you don't want to drag it out, right? Where
Yeah,
you
because
don't
like
like.
I don't know that I want a series after they rescue her of like adventures of baby and parents. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think rescuing her and reuniting them and just letting them have a happy ending is good enough for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. Yeah. If they just save her and then we end on this with like I don't know, 30 chapters, 40 chapters, I'll be happy with it. I
Hmm.
really don't need much more from it.
No, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when every chapter manages to hit like on an emotional level that well.
Yeah. Exactly. Um. But yeah. Do you have anything else to say on it?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Perfect. We do have to kind of make up for the fact that we ranted about Dragon Ball for like
Yeah, we
40
spent
minutes.
fucking 25 minutes on Dragon Ball. So,
Yeah.
but
What's
the good news
next?
is we have something we can blitz through right now.
Um,
Elusive Samurai.
all right. So the reveal of his real name was definitely meant to be like a big thing if you know Japanese history. Too bad I don't know
I
it.
don't. Sure
Yeah.
fucking don't.
Hirano Shogun. Who is that? I'm Googling this right now. Hirano Shogun. It feels like that has to be a historical figure.
I would assume.
Um, Nothing immediately comes up, so that's weird. But
I don't
oh
know.
yeah, no, that was a real guy. That was a real human being.
Oh, okay. I mean, most of these guys are, right?
Yeah, I think so. Um, yeah, like it's just like the reveal. Oh, this is actually a historical figure. Really did not hit. It
Doesn't
almost felt
matter.
comical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost felt comical to me. I'm like, and again, it's I don't think it's necessarily a fault of the series because yeah, it's a Japanese series. Of course, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna go for Japanese aesthetic and history. But yeah, damn, I did not care about this chapter whatsoever. It
Nope.
was just kind of whatever.
And the fight is also like, I've learned to counter your ability, and it's like, I don't care. I don't
Hmm.
really care. And then again, the ending I feel like was supposed to be a wham shot of like, uh-oh, he's starting a new technique, and boy, I don't care at all.
Something about a young boy turning his ass towards an old man, and the next panel being the old man smiling creepily just does not work for me. I am sorry.
I don't know. I just hope they kill this guy quickly and then move on to more interesting things, because this rematch was not something I ever wanted. Like,
Hmm.
I thought the original time that they fought was actually pretty cool,
Yeah.
and but not cool enough in a way that I'm like, oh shit, he's back. Like,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
do interesting things, and like, I don't know. I don't care about this
Mhm.
at all.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on
We
then?
should.
Yeah. All right. Elusive Samurai. God, I sure as hell know nothing about Japanese history. Out
Yep,
of 10.
out of 10.
Yeah.
Next up is Mashle.
Which is another kind of nothing chapter.
Almost nothing happens really. They're just kind of cute together. Everyone's like,
Hmm.
"Aw, we're kind of friends." Even Harry Potter is like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever."
Yeah, he has like a Ron Weasley to his Harry Potter.
Yeah. And then like they're apparently Finn's magic is to switch places of things.
Hmm.
Which, what the fuck how does that heal this rabbit? I don't know. Is he taking the blood outside of its body and switching it into its body? I don't know what the fuck is happening.
No, he's like switching the hurt parts of the rabbit with the healthy parts of another rabbit somewhere in
So
the
he's
world.
so he's killing a different rabbit to save this
Yes.
rabbit? Okay.
Yes, a random different rabbit.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, your magic, your personal magic is the ability to swap things. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, is he gonna be like Uryu's power in Bleach, where Uryu can like swap the wounds between two targets? So if you damage him
Hmm.
too much, he just swaps his wounds onto you, and then kills
Hmm.
you with the damage you did to him. Like, is that what it's gonna
Hmm.
be? That, because that would be kind of cool if like Mash is getting his shit wrecked, and then Finn at the last minute like swaps Mash's injuries onto the bad guy, and like they
Hmm.
do it as like the original two buddies, because this was like his first friend. That would be kind of neat.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
then you've got like his older brother, who, shocker, the older brother of the nervous kid is a dick. No way. Didn't see that one
Hmm.
coming.
Yeah.
But this did have a pretty good gag where Mash passes out from his injuries because he's so exhausted, and they're like, "This would be the worst time for the enemies to attack." And the very next panel is, "The enemy is invading."
Actually, there's another good gag right in front of it where it's like he passes out and he's like, Mash, get up. She starts slapping and he's bleeding. She's like, these injuries, they're awful.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
you
from
gave me
her beating the shit out of him a second ago.
um, but yeah, seems like we're gearing up for like the final big thing.
Yeah,
Since
I don't
this is,
know. I don't know if maybe the Mash guy fought back when they made him lie, because
Mhm.
he had that thing where he was like, "We're almost done," and then they made him say like, "Just kidding,"
Yeah.
but now he's back to saying it's almost done. So I don't know if he was like, "Guys, I literally have nothing. I
Hmm.
cannot. There's nothing." I don't know, but it does definitely feel like we are careening toward the end here.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm interested to see where this goes, but again, beyond this, I have very little to say. Like
Yeah,
it's Mash. It
it
was
was Mash.
sort
It
of
was
a,
pretty funny here and there.
yeah, it was like a rain check chapter, really.
Yeah,
Just
it
sort
did
of
kind of feel
going
that way.
in. Yeah. All right. What's next?
Next up is Undead Unluck.
Pain.
Yeah, it was. I didn't get too emotional over it. Maybe it's just because like, other than finding Rip cool, I didn't really care that much about him. So like, him dying here was not that gut wrenching to me. I like Andy's little thing of like, you can't do it, and he's like, I'm gonna do it. I don't know why.
Hmm.
I like characters who are like that. They're just like, yeah, I am, and they just
Yeah.
leave. Um, but all I really have to say about it is like, it was a cute little moment at the end when they both died together. I thought
Yeah.
that was depicted very sweetly.
Hmm. Yeah. It was the first sort of big death in a while, and I felt like it was like handled very well.
Yeah,
Um.
it was the first big death in a while, and the last one I can think of was like Spring, which, who cares really? Because he was a cute boy, but he was just like not one of the guys, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and it
Then it was
was these two have been
the
like,
kung fu guy.
but then he came back right away
Oh yeah,
as the
that's
zombie
true.
man.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know, and it was just cute seeing them like, because they've been kind of around ever since the beginning on like the friendly, not friendly terms with Fuko. Um,
Hmm.
and I don't know, it was cute seeing them like at the last minute just kind of accept their situation together and like ask their sort of not friend to help them in the end, to which he agrees, you know?
Yeah.
It was
No,
nice.
it was sweet. It was kind of bitter, but yeah, no, I like this chapter. It's again, Undead Unluck is at its best when it's these like small conflicts and not like, the metaphysical ramblings that I don't get anymore.
Yeah. Not when they're trying to
Like,
talk about like what the outcome of God is or whatever. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
yeah, my old disease riddled old man brain cannot comprehend it. I'm sorry.
It's too much.
I'm trying my best, but I was just born stupid. I'm sorry.
uh,
All right.
all
Do you have
right.
anything else?
I have nothing else.
All right. What's next?
Next up, I did not read Super Smartphone this week, so
I didn't either. I
perfect.
thought we dropped it.
Perfect. So then we have Sakamoto Days.
More like raw Komodo days, am I right, fellas?
For a combat chapter, this is like exactly what I'm talking about when I'm like, combat needs to start being more creative. Because this shit was so cool the whole time. They're like fighting on a fucking, like, I'm telling you, the fight, I don't want to keep saying choreography because people get cranky, but the fight design in this series is like shit in a movie. It really is. Also, it had the funniest gag of the week when the guy who is remote controlling the guy is like flopping around on the floor. And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm swimming.
Yeah.
It's a really good gag.
Yeah, no, like I agree. I think this is sort of the stuff that we just need more of. Like the page where he's like tying him to a chair and going, "You're about to get deported."
Yeah, it's
That's
just
so
like a movie
fucking
one-liner.
funny. Yeah. I mean, it really feels like a non-stop action movie, like most of Sakamoto does.
Yeah, like they're fighting with fucking luggage, and he punches him in the face with a passport, and then the punch has like his face imprinted on it in the book, the pages of the passport.
Yeah, like it's just nice to have something like this where it's kind of like an action movie or a kung fu movie. Like you have a good, decent, but not like stupid premise as to why people will be fighting, and you just have good choreography and good like setups for cool fights. Like a VR controlled dude fighting Sakamoto in an abandoned crashed plane. Yeah, like
Yeah,
do that,
like,
Toyotaro.
Doug, the shit where he spins the wheel of the landing gear and uses it as a fucking like scooter to then fly into the air and hit him. That shit's so cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it is a little Looney Tunes, but it's also
right,
cool.
but like Sakamoto's kind of established that air, right? Where it's like the rule of cool over everything else. It doesn't really give a shit about like the realism of what it's doing. It never tried to. So like, is this Looney Tunes as fuck? Yes. But Sakamoto has always portrayed itself that way, and so it doesn't come off as strange to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it feels congruous with like the tone of the series so far.
Yeah. Whereas like in if in My Hero, like all of a sudden Shoto were to make a motorcycle made of ice and fly, I would be like, what the fuck is happening? But like in this, it's perfect. It's great. I love every second of it.
Okay, but now you've made me want to see Shoto making like a ice club and boonking Dabi on the head and sending him to horny jail.
Shoto's is gonna make the lollipop Gundam from Candy Flurry made out of ice.
Oh my god! Yes. And then Dabi is gonna make like a Gundam made out of fire, like number 6 in Vigilantes. Just gonna turn into a giant fire demon.
Oh god, I would read that.
Absolutely.
I would still read that.
All right.
All right.
Anything else on Sakamoto?
No,
or
shit's raw, shit good. Support good
shit's
shit.
raw, shit's good.
Next up is our top threes. So we're going into Blue Box.
You were talking about final pages that hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the most like direct, I don't know what to call it, like direct action implication we've gotten in the entire series, I think.
Yes.
Right?
Because this is like the first time he's gotten a direct call to action that he needs to make a decision on. When it's something like this, right? Because Sure, people have been like, oh, let's go on a platonic friend date somewhere or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this is a situation where he's aware of how she feels, and he's aware of what she's asking him outside of the context of it's for a silly play kind of thing, you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is, uh, uh, I'm stressed. What do
Yeah.
you want to happen? I'll say that.
What I don't want to happen is for him to actually try it, and then she goes, "Oh, haha, no, it was just a joke." That I don't want. That I feel like would be insincere towards us, the audience, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I feel
So I
like,
do think that is possible, but I also think that they will treat it as she's only saying that for his sake. I don't think they'll treat it that if they do that route, because I do think it's possible that it goes that way. I don't
uh
think they'll treat it like she actually genuinely means that,
yeah, okay, yeah, I could accept that
because
actually.
she's been kind of like martyring this whole time, like
Mm-hmm.
almost to an annoying degree.
Mm-hmm.
Her character's kind of getting weird to me, I think, a little bit, because like a lot of the time she spends being like, oh, I'm stepping to the side and being the nice one and just letting what happens happen. But then also
Mm-hmm.
the whole time she's like, but I'm not really though.
Mm-hmm.
And like I get it. That's like a realistic way to do it. But a lot of the time it makes her character seem like I don't know how much I should root for you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, but I don't know. In terms of what I want to happen, I kind of want them to just do it and kind of just see the fallout, I guess.
this is the most like terrifying fallout. This like, do we think that if it happens that because there's two way inevitably it's going to go badly, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way this ends up good.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two ways that the bad happens. One is they do it and they get seen by
Mm-hmm.
someone, which has happened a lot in this series already, so I don't know that it'll go that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the obvious one. Or the second one is that they do it and they don't tell anyone,
Mm-hmm.
and she finds out another way
Mm-hmm.
and feels like Taiki was purposely hiding it from her.
Yes. Okay. Ouch.
Yes.
Um. Fuck.
Yeah. there's no
Yeah.
there's no good. And I want to lean toward I think it's going to be the second one.
Oh God.
I think they're going to do it. I don't think Shinatsu's going to randomly walk in the door when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
She might, but like we've kind of already done that, where she like walks up on them having like what's kind of a moment, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel like it might actually be they do it. Either she plays it off like haha whatever, or like they both get weird. Either one's fine. And
Mm-hmm.
then they don't tell like he doesn't tell Shinatsu what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
later on she finds out some other way. I don't think she would find out from Hina like telling her maliciously or anything like that. So maybe
Yeah.
like maybe they get seen by the friend in the glasses,
Mm-hmm.
and being a high school idiot, the friend in the glasses thinks he's like doing Hina a solid by telling Shinatsu what happened to like get her out of the picture or something. And that causes
Mm-hmm.
because that's totally something a high school dumbass would do to like help his
Yes.
friend. And then maybe
Mm-hmm.
that causes like some intergroup conflict here. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna go the cartoony route of we smooched on the table and Shinatsu saw through the window on the door. Like I don't think it's gonna go
Shinatsu,
that way.
Shinatsu walks in and immediately the Seinfeld theme starts playing. They
Or I think another option is they just don't do it.
just say no.
That
Taiki
Taiki
just
just
says
says no.
no.
I think that that's possible too.
Ouch. Times two.
Yes, because then you have the conflict of like Taiki says no, which to be fair, within his right to do that, you
Yeah,
know.
of course.
But then at the same time you have her hurt feelings that he did that, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
and both are valid, you know, because Taiki
Mm-hmm.
doesn't owe her anything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like she has a right to feel the way that she feels about it, and it's
Yeah.
never
Like,
good. It doesn't feel good to get rejected by somebody.
yeah. Like, you can. It's always within your right to reject someone. We can never do it without inevitably causing some hurt
Yeah,
on the
it
rejected party. It's just normal,
it's
right?
just that's the inevitable outcome of the interaction. It's impossible to
Yeah.
for it to happen any other way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like you can literally not say no to a kiss without the other person feeling at least something negative. And, within reason, I think that is perfectly normal, right?
yeah, like it's how it has to be. But
Yeah.
like it still sucks. And the
Yeah.
way this series is written, we're designed to empathize, I think, with all three. At least I do still at this point.
Yeah.
And so I just don't know, like, every outcome is painful, so which one do I like more? And the answer is none. I don't
Okay,
want
so
any of them.
here's my pitch. All right, here's my pitch for what could happen. So they both agree to it. They're trying to do it. They're like, approaching each other, and we see sort of their thoughts about like what this might have as consequences. And they both stop themselves and say, no, this is a bad idea, because they both figure out that this would not be good for either of them. And it's sort of like a moment where, they're sort of on the same wavelength for the first time. And that same wavelength is, actually, I don't think this is good. And that's how they finish off the Hina storyline. And she, becomes more of a support to Taiki's relationship to Chinatsu.
I could see it, but that's also startlingly mature for a high school student.
Yes, but we've established this is a series that can, when it wants to, actually kind of be pretty mature. And
Yeah,
even
that's
have
true.
like characters do mature shit.
The only thing about that is I feel like Hina would have to initiate it, because I don't think,
Yeah.
based on what I know of Taiki, that if he agrees to do it, he would have like a realization moment.
Yeah.
Because also,
Like,
like they're giving him, because they've kind of established that Taiki does not feel that way about her, but they're giving him like these blush like reaction heart panels. Like they're showing him blushing over her and giving him a heartbeat and stuff. So I don't know if it's just like he's in his head of like, oh my god, I can kiss a girl, or what
yeah,
exactly it is.
because I mean that also comes in, right? It's not just, do I on a emotional level like this person. It also comes down to, howdy, I'm a teenager filled with hormones.
Yeah, and like the thought of kissing a pretty girl is appealing. I like, but like the whole thing is, it's all bad, man. It's all bad.
Yeah, they're teenagers. They're filled with confusion, with rage, and with conflicting emotions. That's kind of how that goes.
I don't know. Just
So,
as two adults who have lived the pain of this series before,
uh-huh.
it's like watching a car crash I know is gonna happen and not being able to stop it.
Yes, but, and here's the silver lining: we lived through shit like this, and we're fine, and they will be too.
That's true.
Like this is
Our
this is just
little adopted fictional children.
yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Heartbreak and having cringy ass first relationships, they're just steps on becoming confident about what you need in life and what you want to pursue. And that's not just relationships, right? Like that's anything.
Right.
You have to suck badly before you can be good. No one figures it out day one, and no one expects you to be a mature person when you're fucking 15. Don't do anything that fucks up your future and you're fine.
Right.
Like just
No crime.
yeah, no crime, no bodily harm. And use your brain, right? Like don't be a fucking weirdo as much as you can. But yeah, like I don't know, like Taiki's whole situation is weird and cringe and very, very convoluted and utterly preventable from an adult perspective. But at the same time, you only gain that perspective by getting into these situations.
That's
right?
true.
Like you're not gonna just magically wake up one day and be like, I've never had a relationship in my life, but now I know how to deal with it. Like, no, of course not. It just develops over time, like almost everything else. Wow, we really like role-playing boomers this episode. I should not have said.
We really are. It's bad.
I really should not have said anything about Dragon Ball boomers. I take
real
it back.
Bad, yeah.
All right. Do we want to move on before?
Yeah.
All right.
Next up is MHA.
We're talking about both chapters. Well, I mean, they're kind of two halves, I guess.
Yeah, we'll we're not gonna like split it up between like last week was this week is this. We'll just kind of like we'll cover the whole Dabi Todoroki like fight here,
which was good.
I thought it was good too.
Yeah,
it's not the resolution I wanted for Dabi.
No, far from
I
it.
feel it's very lackluster in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
I did really like last week's final page, the final like
Mm-hmm.
kind of half spread with the 2 panels,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like them as kids,
Mm-hmm.
followed up by like the partially frozen, partially like melted ice and water and shit everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Really good looking. Thought it was one of my favorite pages or like pieces from MHA in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I did like last week a lot more than this week. I think this week was kind of like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, very disappointed that this is the outcome for Dabi. It could have been worse, but it certainly could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't need like the 6 pages of everyone talking about like, damn, Todoroki sure does smack. What a beast
Mm-hmm.
that dude is. It's like, shut up,
Mm-hmm.
man. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't like how they were like, oh, the enemy for Mina and Kaminari is the random no-name dude who killed Midnight that I forgot about.
Uh-huh.
I completely forgot that happened.
Uh-huh.
And then also they worked that into like the Todoroki dick sucking spree,
Mm-hmm.
where they were like, it's okay, our homie Todoroki's that cool, so we just gotta be cool.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, fuck, man. I don't think this week got interesting until we kind of got that little flashback of like, yes, Spinner got juiced
Mm-hmm.
by Dickbag because he was like down on himself, right? Like he kind of
He never believed in
idolized his
himself.
he idolized his teammates, but he didn't believe that he could be enough on his own. So now he's like
Mm-hmm.
the Incredible Hulk of Lizard Men.
Which is cool. I
Yes,
am absolutely
it's cool.
glad Spinner is doing cool shit.
Boy,
Yeah, you go
do
ahead.
we really need 14 pages though of people being like, "Wow, Todoroki, you're so fucking cool." Like it's a 17-page chapter. Do we need 14 pages dedicated to that? I like how on page 15 they acknowledge that Ida was fucking useless, did
Mm-hmm.
absolutely nothing,
As is tradition with him.
as is tradition. And then
Mm-hmm.
I liked that little bit at the end of All for One being like, "Hey, congrats, you made your fucking child beat your other abused child, you fucking piece of shit."
Mm-hmm.
And then Hawks is like, "Oh, it's just mind games," but like he's kind of right.
Yeah, he is absolutely
He's
right.
kind of right, you know.
Okay, so if this is genuinely the entire finale to like the Todoroki subplot, if there's nothing else to come from it, yeah, this is not good. I am not happy if this genuinely is the end. My only hope for it is the whole thing with like, the glowing orb in Dobby's chest. That's gonna mean something, and like Dobby's gonna get, I don't know, a final thing in. Because what I want is Dobby and Endeavor. Like, frankly, I don't care too much about Dobby's relationship to Shoto. It was always the one to Endeavor that I thought was more interesting.
Right, and like on
Um,
some level, I do find the one with Shoto interesting because from Davi's point of view, Shoto is his like replacement that kind of
mhm,
invalidates his reason to live. Granted, that Shoto had no say in that, you know,
mhm,
so it only goes so far.
mhm,
So Endeavor obviously is the more interesting one of the two, and I haven't really enjoyed Endeavor being here in this like fighting with All for One to begin with,
mhm.
because it doesn't feel like he's here for any reason other than he's the strongest hero, so he has to be.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, I get
And
that.
it's super weird to me that they're phrasing it like it's a punishment. They're like, my dad's gonna suffer through not being able to beat Dabi to death."
Oh boy, that poor Engie. He didn't get to abuse his son
He
one
didn't
last
get
time.
one last punch in on that son he fucking abused.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, I feel like this is a good conclusion for Shoto. It is a terrible conclusion for Dobby and Endeavor, if it is that.
Yes, like yeah, Shoto's part, it feels right. It's him kind of
Mhm,
overcoming the sins of his father, which has been his whole thing basically since he was introduced,
mhm,
and doing it in his own way, like
mhm,
with his own power and everything. It was nice.
mhm.
Boy, it feels really lackluster for Dabi though.
Yes. And as I said, I'm heavy on copium right now. That like glowing orb in his chest means something.
It's
That
why
it's
it should
gonna
just
give
be
us.
like a bomb.
he just like fucking explodes.
It's just the
Kills
fucking
Shoto.
suicide bomb.
Yeah. Shoto goes over to hug him one last time, and Dabi whispers like "Gotcha, bitch," and just explodes. And then it's like, oh fuck, that's the one main character death we're gonna get in MHA, because it has to end with someone dying. Because now it's the final arc. There are no consequences to anything. There's enough merch of everybody. Someone can die, but only one. You may kill a main character, but only once.
As a treat, you may have one.
As a treat.
As you have one kill.
You may have Neji. You may kill off a main character who's not completely a main character.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They're gonna kill off like Mina or something.
They're gonna kill off
Aoyama.
Ida. They're gonna kill off Ida.
Yeah,
and no one's gonna care.
Yeah, like maybe that's what Ida does to contribute to the fight. Dabi's bomb starts going off, and he grabs him and runs far away.
Yeah.
And then it explodes. And then they'll be really sad, but then all the readers will be like, bro, that's crazy. You have not been on panel for like 3.5 years.
Yeah. Like, what? Ida died? I thought he was dead already. No, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna take Dabi. He's gonna run to King Kai's planet and run back. Leave him there. You're like, yeah, I learned instant transmission off screen. Like, turns out I just had to pull out my mufflers harder. But getting back to the chapter, what do you think of Hori introducing a brand new like mini villain? Randomly,
the guy who's attacking Aoyama,
Kunieda.
Kuneda or whatever.
Yeah,
I assume that he's not going to be around for very long.
Mm-hmm.
I assume he will just have his battle here and lose, and that will be it. Because we have to have Aoyama get some redemption here.
True, but also I have heavy vibes of this either being like a character that gets a weird amount of screen time, or that we're not even gonna see him throw a single punch.
No, I feel like he's gonna fight because they need to justify Aoyama working his way back into everyone's good graces. So he's going to have a fight that he wins.
True enough, but it's like, if you remember during the last war arc, you had all these like unique looking generals of the Liberation Army, and then all of their fights got off screen.
Yes.
like you had this big introduction panel of like one of them appearing behind Gang Orca ready to strike, and then that just never got like touched upon again.
Yeah,
like the fight is never shown again.
If he wasn't fighting Aoyama, I would like. I honestly think we might not see that much of Mina and Kaminari's fight because that's not Kaminari. Kirishima. That's that's of Mina and Kirishima. I feel like they're literally just gonna be like, "You killed our teacher." Bap bap bam. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that they're gonna try to sell you pretty hard on like Aoyama did this fight and now everyone likes him again, even though like blah blah blah. So if he wasn't fighting Aoyama, I would have no expectations of how long he will be on page, but I think we'll actually see his full fight. Also, Fat Gum is there, and he's like a fan favorite, so.
Well, that's also fair enough. But yeah, no, I mean, we've been complaining a lot, but in terms of just in entertainment, these chapters have actually been pretty fun. Like, or at least last week's chapter definitely was. I liked Shoto's new attack, and Cold Fire, I feel, is just a perfect conclusion for him. Endeavor being defined as this guy whose ambition burns everything it touches, and then you have Shoto, whose fire is so nice and pleasant that you can literally like poke it and it doesn't hurt you at all. Confused as to how to beat Dabi, but I'm fine. He just hit him very hard.
Well,
I'm okay
I
with that.
assume it's because the whole point was that Dabi's attacks no longer were doing any damage, so because he was just like nulling out the heat of them, so Dabi couldn't really hurt him anymore, and then he still took a fire blast to the chest.
Yeah, kind of.
Or maybe that shit was just ice fucking cold, and Dabi's entire body is a giant heat scar, and you're not supposed to put cold water over a burn wound. So
yeah,
he went into fucking shock.
Yeah, like because it's also interesting because when this chapter first came out, people were saying that Dabi's chest had like healed, like the burns had disappeared. But I think that's just
ice.
A piece of ice.
That's ice, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, these were okay chapters.
No, that's 100% ice. Because if you look at it, it's like melting a little bit. It's like there's like the steamy effect that Hori uses for ice coming off of it.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. But yeah, no, these were fun chapters. I enjoyed them. I think, All for One Still a shame that he's there, but what am I gonna do? Final final panel is really cool with like all the different quirks activating in his hands. Maybe he will finally use his quirk in a way that is actually cool.
That is actually useful instead of like, I'm gonna punch you with an even bigger punch fist than yours.
Yeah. Yeah. Like he has like a little face coming out of one of his fingers. That's
Yes,
really
it's
cool.
really gross.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, my hero is doing what it's been doing for a year. It's pretty okay in the moment. And I'm happy unless I start thinking about the larger
Unless,
sort
yeah,
of
unless you
plot
think too
connections.
far about it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
did like the plant dude, the Kuneda guys, like the fact that he kind of sussed out what the plan was. When that
Mm-hmm.
they put all of their resources toward planning for like the big ones, and so
Mm-hmm.
they were just gonna like isolate the little guys and just do whatever, which
Mm-hmm.
could come back to bite them because they didn't pre-plan for like anybody else other than the league's big hitters,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds exactly as stupid as some shit that the heroes in this series would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's interesting. I really don't give a fuck about Midnight. I completely forgot that she was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So bringing her back, like, boy, the emotional weight is not there, but whatever,
No.
we'll see.
Well, hey, if it gets Mina and Kirishima a good moment together and they smooch, which they won't because this series is afraid of doing anything
Yeah,
that
no, they will
matters.
not smooch, not a chance.
Yeah. But hey, if it gets them closer, I'm fine with it. I'm all right. Um, but yeah, I'm out of things to say on it. So do we want to move on to the finale?
Yep, let's jump right into Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. So I am very happy that there's finally a good lightning user in Jump.
Yes, his power's cool as shit. Like, whoa.
Yes. Super cool. And I also like in the last chapter how he uses the Kogane to suss out if Panda is a player.
Yes, because they didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. Super cool. Um, very weird that we get to see his Panda's sister for like 2 seconds and then it's just gone.
Yeah, the
Also even
Triceratops mode.
yeah, it's even weirder because she has tits.
Really, I don't remember that, but I also
Yeah,
I only remember looking at the like disembodied head.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a massive head, but then under it is just the body of a woman.
Oh yeah, sure is.
Yeah. Um, Today's chapter was a little brave. You know, this almost entirely contextless. Like, I don't know. Is this like a?
I assume this is meant to be that the cores other than pandas are gone now. They were destroyed by
Yeah.
uh Kami fucking the guy, Lightning Boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um
Kashimo.
yeah, Kashima, that's what his name is. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, it's meant to be that they were like always what he viewed as protecting him. Um
Mm-hmm.
but they're gone now and only pandas left. But actually
Mm-hmm.
like Panda had to do a lot of the hard stuff too because, he was uh he was the front face, right? Like he was the primary body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's meant to be much more than that, other than like Panda having to say goodbye to his siblings,
Mm-hmm.
because the father has like no form whatsoever, so it's not like their actual past family. It's not like the principal.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I mean, he
guess
does have
it
his
yeah,
shades.
I think it's supposed to represent him because he's got the shades, but like it's not like this is in the past or anything. I think this is more
Mm-hmm.
of just like an internal representation of
No, I
um
get that it was like an internal representation, but it's weird that we got an entire chapter on it, basically.
I assume it's. I'm just gonna throw this out there. It's entirely because he wanted to do a Bleach rescue. That 150% he wanted to do a Bleach rescue with Hikari, and he was like, I
Mm-hmm.
need to fill these pages with something, and Panda already
Mm-hmm.
lost, so I can't have him just kick the shit out of Panda more. So he went
Mm-hmm.
for this instead.
So that means Hakari beat Charles.
Yes, which we knew.
Yeah, I mean he would. So I'm guessing Hakari is now gonna get his shit pushed in.
That is my assumption, is that
Mm-hmm.
Hikari is also going to lose here, and I
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be okay. Which colony are they in?
One where no one else is in, I think.
Okay, is this where Maki comes back?
Boy, maybe. I mean,
I don't. Okay, Hikari and Panda might die, but I don't think Kashimo's gonna just do whatever the fuck he wants in his colony and murder everyone for the rest of the arc.
mm-hmm,
So we have a couple options, right?
mm-hmm,
We either Hikari and Panda die here, because I don't think
mm-hmm,
Hikari's gonna win. I'm very sold Hikari's not gonna win.
mm-hmm,
Like 99% sure Hikari is not going to win here. They spent way too much time explaining his ability in that fight with Charles and
mm-hmm,
making a point that he can lose for it to be anything other than like he's gonna get his fucking shit rocked.
mm-hmm,
Yuta's really not in the condition to fight, nor is he here.
mm-hmm,
Yuji and Megami are not here.
mm-hmm,
So the only option is either they both die and everyone finds out about it later,
mm-hmm,
or someone appears to help and the only person left is Maki.
mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. That could be interesting.
Because we know that Maki's plan was, once she finished her shit, she was going to come and help.
Mm-hmm.
How would she know where to go? I don't know. Because I guess maybe if she joined up, if she met with like Tengen again before she came back, he could tell them where they all went. Well, no, she knows where they all went, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Does she know that Panda's there? I
Now you're
don't think
asking me too
so.
much.
I don't think she does. I think because they didn't meet Panda until they went to recruit Hikari, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so Maki would know that Panda's here. And I don't think she would randomly show up here to help Hikari for no reason. I feel like she'd be more inclined to go meet up with Yuta or Megami.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so maybe this isn't where Maki shows up, because without knowing Panda's here, I don't feel like she'd have any particular reason to appear here.
Mm-hmm.
Last minute heroic rescue by fucking Inumaki.
Inumaki, whose arm is
One
actually
arm.
like back.
Or he's got like a crazy arm. Yeah, he's got like a puppet arm or something.
He's got an arm made out of sushi.
Or they could have just let Yuta heal him, because Yuta can fucking heal people.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, Inumaki has straight up just not appeared.
He has not
anymore,
done a single thing since he showed up for like a panel and a half in Shibuya.
Mm-hmm.
And we now know that he was 6 centimeters away from getting eviscerated by Sukuna and didn't.
Damn, my man got lucky once and he just left the series.
Yeah, he got that one war wound and he was like, I'm not gonna play God twice here on this, okay?
Yeah, I'm not gonna take my chances. I'm gonna take my money and leave. But yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting sort of to see where this goes. I kind of feel like we need to sort of get somewhere with the calling games at some point soon.
Well, I feel like this is the fight where we're gonna have to start moving, right? Because one, I think the heroes are gonna lose, which is the first time they've done so.
Mm-hmm.
2, we're out of heroes. Everyone's had their fight so far now.
Yeah.
So there's no one else to like check in on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is sort of who's been billed as the big bad of the arc, right?
True. Or sort of a mini boss before the angel.
Right. Or if the angel even is going to be a fight, there's a chance it's not going to be, right? Angel was kind of
That's
never
also true.
really framed as like, you're going to have to beat the shit out of this person and force them to help us. Like, they're just the only option. So could they be just like talked into helping? I don't know. Probably not, because it's Jujutsu Kaisen, so we gotta have some sick ass fighting. But maybe.
Yeah, true. But yeah, honestly, aside from that, I'm also kind of out of things to say, because this chapter was predominantly that Panda backstory, or like Panda like visual metaphor, which it was all right. I wasn't like a big fan of that, to be honest. It felt a little out of place.
I think that with Panda, they tend to lean into like he's very cute.
Mm-hmm.
And because they gave him like the same thing with the death of the principal. They kind of gave him like a similar thing, and I think they try to use him as like the emotional like center. So like when Panda's dying, you give him like the cute thing. But yeah, it was just kind of whatever. It felt weird seeing the Triceratops for 7 seconds. And then he got fucking wasted.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Jujutsu Kaisen does do that sometimes. I think it might be the first time it's done it with a main character, though. Where, like, someone will have a power and they'll kind of hint that they have it, and then they'll just get fucking ass blasted before they even can use it at all. Like the big example being Hanami's domain expansion that we know exists, but was never even planned. Like when asked about it, Akutami was like, "I didn't even make it. Like, it was never gonna get used. It's just the power that she had."
Yeah.
So we know that Panda had a core, so he may have just been showing like, see, and then it was gone because he never planned to actually use it for anything. Very possible. I like how willing he is to use Panda for like body horror because he's not really a person, so he doesn't care that much about like
Yeah, true. Like with the
eviscerating
fucking
him.
splash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course Sakari. This was the top tier Bleach Rescue entrance. This is very classic Kubo last minute Kenpachi arrival kind of thing.
Big ass destruction, hero landing, and then big panel of the face saying something cocky.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the other guy saying something cocky back. And it's a cool entrance. He crushes what looks like, I don't know, what is it, shipping crates or something? That's where they are, right? They're in like a shipping yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he lands down and like crushes two of them underneath this big ass torrent of cursed energy. It looks fucking awesome. I just wish I wasn't so thoroughly convinced he's about to get Vegeta really hard.
Yeah, but I suppose we'll just have to see about that, right?
Yeah. And yeah, Kashimo's powers are super fucking cool. He's got a guaranteed hit without a domain expansion because of his fucking lightning powers.
Finally a good lightning user. But yeah, anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Does that mean we have the big episode in the bag?
I believe we do. Yeah, that was a long one. It was almost 2 hours. It's one of the longest ones we've had in a while.
I bet. I mean,
well, we
makes
had
sense.
to go on a 30-minute rant about Dragon Ball.
Yeah, true. But okay, in that case, I guess we'll see you lovely people next week.
Yes, we will. We will see you next time, and hope you enjoyed and all that other stuff. I forgot how to sign out of this. Bye!
Bye!